Welcome to Let's Make Cake. I'm your host, Michelle Pyle, and I am here to talk about how to overcome depression and anxiety and make a great life. That is something I did for myself, so I just want to help others if I can by sharing my story. In today's video, I want to talk about fear. This actually came to me in the middle of the night, and sometimes when that happens, I grab my phone and type out notes, but this time I was like, well, hopefully I'll remember what it was I wanted to say because I was super tired and didn't want to disrupt my sleep too much. But yeah, fear. And so what came to me was, as someone who I've had a lot of fear and a lot of moments in life when I've been like scared or afraid of like what to do or different things, and I'll give some examples. But the thought that came to me is one aspect of fear that we shouldn't be afraid of is that it's asking us to be of sober mind, right? So something is going on that is causing us to be fearful. And instead of just being like, oh, I just need to overcome that fear or just push through the fear, right? There is like an element of that. But fear is actually also serving like a bigger purpose. It's trying to call attention to like, hey, you need to pay more attention here in this situation that is causing you all this fear. And you need to be of sober mind, meaning you need to be thoughtful, intentional, right? It might involve some planning. It might involve consulting with others, consulting with experts. But the fear is not like in and of itself like a bad thing, right? Like it's saying like, hey, pay attention and put in a little more work in this area. So I'll give like a couple of examples. So like a specific time when I had a lot of fear, I had decided that I was going to try to move to France, right? Because moving solves all your problems. And I found this thing online where you could go, it was like a work exchange program. So you could live with someone and then they would give you lodging and meals and then you would like work for them. A lot of it was like nanny, being a nanny or whatever. I found something that was at this lady's bed and breakfast. And so in exchange for like helping with her clientele who were staying there, right? Anything from like cleaning to cooking to gardening, whatever it was. She would let me stay there and she would provide a certain number of meals. So it seemed legitimate. Like it's all online with like profiles and you write them and you can do like video calls. But leading up to my departure, I became like overwhelmed with like fear and anxiety. Like I stopped sleeping. I was like getting like hives and rashes. And I just thought, like a lot of us do, like, oh, you're just being fearful. And all you have to do is just overcome that fear. Just go. Just do it. I mean, that is what I ultimately did because that's like the message we receive a lot in society is just overcome your fear, push through it. But in hindsight, what I can recognize is like your fear was also saying, hey, let's do a little more planning around this adventure, right? Like, ask yourself, like, what am I hoping to achieve from this experience? Like, what am I running away from something, right? Look into the legal stuff. Like, I hadn't even researched. And this isn't 100% my fault because you see this in Netflix movies and in this book I just read where people are just moving to Europe. And like, that's not how it works. You can only stay here for 90 days and then you have to leave. And I didn't even know that. I hadn't like done any of that like work, health insurance. I don't think I even considered, right? So the fear was also like calling to attention, like you need to do more work here, right? Like there's a reason you're feeling fearful, right? I could sense my sort of reckless, I mean, I was fine. Everything was fine. I came home like 6 weeks later. It didn't work out, but also good. I didn't end up breaking any laws by overextending my stay and then like not being able to come back to Europe because of that. But yeah, so like what could I have done differently? Well, talk to like another person who had done this, right? Do some like basic research and planning. And then also like, talk to yourself, like, what will I do if it doesn't turn out, right? Like, so instead of just being afraid, like it's not, what if it doesn't work out? It's like, okay, well, that's like a very real possibility. So like, do you have a backup plan? Like, do you have enough money to buy you a flight to get the heck out of there if it's like not a good situation? Like, I don't know. I just think fear it's calling us to check in and like spend a little more time on whatever it is we're afraid of, right? To help ourselves. So I'll give a couple more examples. Like, I hear a lot of people are like afraid they're never going to like meet that person that, get married and all of that. And that was definitely something I was really fearful of. Until I finally met my person. But like, so forever. And I mean, I'd have moments where I was fine being single or whatever, but it's like, okay, you could just be afraid and you can like spiral down. And what a lot of people do is like, okay, well, I'll online date. And I think it might be more helpful, and this is something like I wish I had done, was like check in with yourself. Like, why am I afraid that I'm not going to meet somebody? And what might be lurking under there is not so much access to people, right? Like the dating pool, but it's something that's like within yourself that you want to work on, right? So like sometimes fear, there's like a deeper underlying thing going on. Like for me, it's like, yeah, if you're walking around with the belief that everybody will leave you or cheat on you, or you'll never be enough in comparison to another woman, you're not going to meet that person. Not because you're not trying, right? Like you're dating, you're going out there, but you're walking around with this belief system that's actually the barrier to like you meeting somebody, right? So sometimes the fear, there's more going on there, right? And so if you kind of take the time to ask yourself, like, what is this about? And you can get to a deeper place with yourself. And then the fear can kind of go away because you're like, okay, now I know what I need to work on. And you can take those steps to do that. Another fear is, so like meeting someone is a big one, but people are graduating soon from college or maybe from high school. And there's a fear of like finding a job or finding the career or finding what will make you fulfilled and pay your bills and like having access to the world, like through your work. Those fears are super real, right? I just think like to tell people not to be afraid of that is crazy. Like, yes, it's scary. And so if you have those fears, ask yourself, well, what can I do? Like, who can I talk to? Right? Like, talk to people who are older than you. Like, what did you do? Like, how did you figure it out? Like, what would you recommend? Or just ask them their story. Hearing other people's stories, there's like so much good stuff like in people's life stories that you can apply like to your own life. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. There was this friend of a friend. They were a married couple, but he always wanted to open up a restaurant. But he didn't just go out and open up a restaurant. He wrote his plan, his business plan, and he kept it for like years, like while he kept working. And because he had that plan and he knew this is something I want to do someday, he had like the patience to wait for the right opportunities to align, right? A lot of fear we have is like, it's never going to happen. And it's like, okay, well, put like the pieces in place and then let the world kind of unfold before you and let things come together naturally. And that's what he did. And they still have their restaurant and they made it through COVID and they're very successful. And I always think about that. Like, he put together a plan and he listened to other people's stories of people who had restaurants, and he was patient and waited for the right time for that to like come together. That story is super powerful to me because it's like, it's just another example of like how to be successful in life. And so the more stories we can like gather from people of how they like achieved whatever it is we're afraid we're not going to achieve. So yeah, you want to like consult other people, and sometimes people can't give advice, but they can definitely tell you their story, right? They can tell you like, here's what I wish I did, or here's what I did do that was great. Here's what I did that maybe I could have done better. Like moving to a new city, right? Like I know a lot of people think, or are thinking now of like making a move, right? Talk to other people who did it, because that is like a big life change. And so if you're feeling fearful, like I want to move to a new city, but I'm terrified, instead of just belittling yourself for having fear, acknowledge that fear is calling me to be of sober mind and to take the time and the steps to make it a successful move, right? So put a plan together. And if you don't know how, then ask somebody. Be like, what are things I need to consider and look at? Or find, if you know someone who has made a big move, be like, how did you do it? Like, what steps did you take? What lessons did you learn? We can just learn so much from other people. It's amazing. I think we need to do more of that. I know I wish I had done more of that in my 20s. I think sometimes we just want to like, or they tell us just to push through the fear and go for it. You just go for it. Just do it, whatever. But I think it's okay to like talk to people and have a plan and have patience. Yeah. So those are some examples. Another fear that people have, I know, is like aging and dying, right? And so like, what is that fear? Like there's something behind that fear. So like look at what is going on. So, and you can put a plan in place to like help yourself. So like if you're fearful of aging, a lot of what the fear is, like obviously our bodies. But like, okay, so like be healthier and like make better choices so that when you are older, your body won't break down as fast. So like you can do things now to help with that fear. Another is like, I think we're afraid of like opportunities just aren't going to be there anymore, or like life is coming to a different stage and like that's scary. And it's like, instead of like comparing it to your past or thinking about what you're missing out on, it's figuring out, well, what can I do? Like, so what do I want to do for the next 10 years, where at the end of those 10 years, I'll look back and be like, that was awesome. Right? Same with fear, our fear of death. It's like, okay, like that's a legitimate thing to be, or premature death maybe is what we're thinking to be afraid of. So like, what steps can I take to like be healthier and like take better care of myself? Or what will I do, if I get, I think about cancer a lot because it seems like everybody gets cancer. It's like, okay, well, instead of living in fear, just know that like if that happens, you know what you can do. Like, so have a doctor, like have health insurance. And I know that like I've been in periods of my life where I couldn't afford health insurance. So I understand that, but like there are things we can do, right? Like the fear is calling us to be more responsible, more thoughtful, talking more with people, right? Like people can really help us overcome our fears a lot, or like help us put in place things we need in order to manage the fear. So yeah, so I just want to talk about that because I was like, there's a lot of this like, which is positive and I support it, but like just push through your fear, right? Like I know when I was like wanting to do these videos, I was so afraid. And so I was just like, okay, like just plow through and like don't be afraid. And it's like, or practice more, right? Like practice, make some videos that are good, make some videos that are bad, like get used to seeing myself and hearing my voice, right? There are things we can do to help manage like our fear. And I just thought that was something important because I know there's just a lot, life can just throw a lot at us. At least it has for me, so I'm sure it has for you. And fear is like a big one. And so I would just say, like, whatever it is, if you're feeling fearful of something, whether it's something that's happening or may happen, or that you're missing out on something, or whatever it is, like, take some time to sit with that topic and be like, okay, what is going on here? Like, what is the fear? Like, how can it help me? Like, is it saying, you need to be more thoughtful? You need to work on a plan. You need to talk to other people who have done this or gone through this something similar. Like that's one of the things, like when I was going through the depression and all that, I was like, if I could just have, like, therapy is great and doctors are great and they're obviously like, you need that help. But like, if I could just have somebody who's like, I did it, like I came out of it and like, here's how, and here's what I did, and here's the steps I took. Like the power of that, like can help so, so much. So just know, like, or like for me, like my hair started falling out, which is a horrible thing to go through, can I tell you? And I found this YouTube video of this lady talking about she had gone through the same thing. And I cannot tell you how comforting it was just to hear somebody else's story. And of course, she talked about what she did to get better, and maybe that will help me and maybe it won't. But just to know, like, we're not alone, right? So, like, whether it is you're trying to figure out work, like talk to people who have struggled. Like, yeah, I didn't know what I was going to do and I had to figure it out at like 30, and it was terrifying, but here's what I did, right? Because when you hear those stories, then you don't have to be so afraid. Because I think it's when we like turn to ourselves and we try to have all the answers, or we try to just ignore the fear and be like, oh, I'll just push through or pretend it's not there, right? Like we need to hear from other people, and we need to talk to other people. Like whatever it is that like you're going through or working through or need help with, and you have fear around that, like I promise you there is like someone out there who can like make you feel better by like just hearing their story. So that was like my message today. I was like, yeah, it's great to push through the fear and like have no fear and all of this, but like also it does serve a purpose, and it is calling us to be wiser. And wisdom, we can gain a lot of wisdom through experience, but we can also gain a lot of wisdom through other people's experiences. And I think that is one of the cool things that I really like about YouTube and people telling their stories, is just how much wisdom we can gain from other people sharing, like, here's what I did and here's how I figured it out. Here's how I moved to another city, or here's how I started a new career, or here's how I found, my spouse, or here's how I overcame depression. So that's today's message, and I really appreciate and thank you guys for being here and for watching. It really means a lot to me. And you can find more on letsmakecake.org, and I will see you next time. Thanks.